Hey guys, been a while. Oh, excuse the block nose. As you can probably, I hope you can tell. I'm not sure you can, but hold on. That doesn't really help. New laptop, new camera. Hi. Been a while. Haven't made a video in a long time. Plan to make loads of videos, never did. Typical. I'm gonna get into the habit of making videos again, especially with WrestleMania season are coming around, and you know, it's that time of the year. It's every wrestling fan's Christmas, and especially with the whole Rock Cena thing going on. There are going to be a lot of videos I'm planning on doing associated with it, but again, planning on doing. I'm not sure whether I actually will or not because. Anyway, this is just going to be. I guess it's a reintroductory video. I guess. I haven't done this in a while, so bear with me. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump straight into some of the stuff that I missed that I planned on reviewing before. Maybe just a catch-up review to try and get me back on track. So, last month we had several pay-per-view events. The two biggest being the Royal Rumble and no, not UFC 143. Wrestle-Kingdom. Yeah, we had Wrestle-Kingdom at the start of the year. The first big pay-per-view of the year. The WrestleMania of Japan. And that'll be the first show I'm going to review, and then I'll do Royal Rumble afterwards. So, Wrestle-Kingdom all around, yeah, it wasn't the most aesthetically pleasing card. It wasn't the best show in the end. It had a few high moments, had a few low moments. I don't think it was good, I don't think it was bad, I think it was okay. No match on the card really stood out to me as great. There were a few, I think there were probably maybe three or four matches that ranged from about average to good. But yeah, get into that now. First match of the night was the Remorse defending the tag team titles against Apollo 55. It was arguably the match of the night. I personally thought a match later in the night was slightly better, but we'll get into that. It was a good tag team match. They worked a very good match, quick pace, nice way to start the show. I think this was probably one of Davey's best Japanese performances. And I mean, I know that's not saying much, but it's better than what he's given before. So something's better than nothing. An improvement is better than no improvement. So they had a very good match, a very technical, fast-paced style. Didn't care for the finish. Didn't care for the team that went over. Just think it was stupid. But that's neither here nor there. So a great solid match to open the show. 3.5 stars. Second match of the night was the 8-man Super Stars match, which was just a big clusterfuck spot fest. As they usually are, it was a good clusterfuck spot fest, if not a little short considering how many people were in the match. But a lot of these matches were restricted by time, barring the two top matches. Well, yeah, I think some of the matches got enough time, but a lot of the matches didn't. I think that was a big problem with the show, that a lot of the matches didn't get enough time to sort of blossom into what they could be. This match could have been 3.5 because of the sheer quality of the competitors in the match, but it just wasn't long enough. Liger getting the win was smart booking, and him wearing silver, spot on. That was a nice moment. Him coming out in all silver Liger outfit. That was cool. But yeah, obviously the New Japan the face team went over, as they did. Like getting pinned. 2 stars. Possible. Third match of the night was Okada versus YOSHI-HASHI. I don't get it with these two. I mean, this match got absolutely slated. Like this match was supposedly the worst thing since sliced bread. I actually like the match. It was short, and it didn't make much sense in the fact that it was so short. But if they'd have gone for double the time that they did, I think this would have been a really good match. I think the way they worked well, it wasn't botchy, it wasn't messy, it was a good. I mean, YOSHI-HASHI took control and dominated. It was short, so dominated pretty much the whole match. And then Okada hit a few moves and won. That I didn't like, but just the way they worked the match made sense. It was well played. It was well thought out. It was well executed. It was just a well done match, and they got in quite a lot for the short amount of time that they had. But I still think that Okada should have been on the offense for longer than he was. I think he should have been on the offense for longer than YOSHI-HASHI, especially in a short match like that. Because he just hit a couple of moves, I think he hit one move, got a near fall, and then hit his finisher and got a near fall, and got the win. And I was like, huh? This sort of came out of nowhere. Do you know what I mean? I didn't like that, but I just think it was really well worked. And I think that match, it's been slated more than it should have been. The fourth match of the night, Nagata and Inoue versus Funaki Masakatsu and Kono Masayuki. I didn't enjoy this match at all. One of the problems I had with the show when coming into it was that there were way too many tag team matches. Understandably, with this being a New Japan versus All Japan match, this was fine. But it just sort of, knowing that there are so many tag team matches still to come, just sort of, it just didn't work for me. And with no IWGP Junior type match, that sort of took away as well. Because obviously Devitt was in the opener, challenging for the tag belts. But what can you do? It wasn't a great match. It wasn't an awful match. 2 stars, just possible. I don't really want to talk about that one. MVP in Shelton Benjamin versus Tanaka, Masato, and Takahashi Yujiro. This is surely I don't know how I feel about this one. Again, it was a decent match. Again, too many tag team matches, and there are obviously tag team matches though. The next two tag team matches were the real draw tag team matches, so I think it kind of got overlooked. It kind of got overshadowed, not necessarily overlooked, but overshadowed. Because I think with Shelton Benjamin coming into New Japan deal was big, and it was interesting enough that people would be like, "Oh, Shelton Benjamin, let's just watch to see how he does," and he did all right. He didn't do Jeff Hardy, so that's already a positive. But I think what should have been happening in this situation is that if you're bringing in Benjamin for the biggest show of the year, you're bringing in Benjamin for a singles match. So what I would have run with was Tanaka versus Benjamin for the IWGP Intercontinental title. You have MVP in Benjamin's corner, Takahashi in Tanaka's corner. It's practically the same match. You can run it almost the same way. I just feel like Tanaka versus Benjamin just feels like the bigger match. Then you can have the tag team match as a future match, as a blow-off match down the line. The big match for me is Tanaka versus Benjamin. That is the big match, the big match for the big show. And not doing that match just sort of felt underwhelming. 2.5 stars. Bad Intentions versus Ten-Koji. This was a very well worked tag team match. This was the tag team match. This is probably the match on the card I was most looking forward to, really. Ten-Koji's reunion, their big tag team title reunion. They worked a very good match. Bad Intentions did a good job. They had one of the best entrances I've ever seen. The machine gun, Carl Anderson had the machine gun and shot at the screen, and there were bullet holes appeared in it, and it was fucking awesome. It was brilliant. And the match itself was very good. Ten-Koji went over, so I was happy with that. But just the way the match was worked. Again, not enough time. But that, again, I'm going to be saying that for, if I keep saying that, I'm going to be saying that for pretty much every single match on the card, barring the top 3, and maybe maybe the top 4. But it was still a good tag team match. I felt it was very, very good. A lot of people have been saying this was match of the night. Not sure I'd agree with that. I wouldn't agree with that because I had this third best match of the night. It was very, very good tag team match. Enjoyed it. And Ten-Koji got the titles back, so there you go. Intentions held the titles too long. I mean, they're not a great tag team. They're alright, but they held the titles for too long. Goto versus Sugiura. Oh my god, this was going to be so good, and then they gave him no time. But this match really, I think this match probably suffered the most from the whole lack of time thing. And I know, like I said in the last one, if I keep going on about it, I'll be going on about it. I've been going on about it throughout the whole video so far, so why not? This match, chronic loss, chronic no time, nothing, nah. Goto got the win, got his win back on Sugiura finally. Now they're going to put the Intercontinental title on him, and I'm just not feeling it. Sorry, but yeah. Maccabi versus Takayama. This was a very good brawl. I mean, I think this match needed to be relatively short, not necessarily like 3 minutes, but it needed to be short to the point where you don't want these guys going out there and having a long match, because Takayama's old, and Maccabi's not a great lengthy worker. He's better having short matches. So, have Maccabi and Takayama go out there, have a short stiff brawl, which is what they did, and have Maccabi finally get his win, which he did. And this was a very solid match. 3 stars, stiff, tough. These two guys just went out there and beat the crap out of each other. Just very well done. A good match. Third from main event, Nakamura and Yano, the Chaos top team, against the Noah boys, Shiozaki, Go, and Marufuji Naomichi. Match of the night for me. Great match. Just a superb work throughout the contest. You know, I love the fact that Nakamura was not in the main event. He was not in a singles match, so you could take the spotlight off of him, because I mean he's their second biggest star. So. But I just like this match when it was booked. I like the idea of having Nakamura and Yano be, because I feel like they could be the top heel tag team, which I think Nakamura needs to be taken out of the title picture at least for a little while, and I feel like maybe a long-term Ten-Koji Nakamura Yano feud could do well and could produce some good tag team matches, and that's definitely something I would like to see. Obviously them not getting the win here, they're obviously going to need to be built up, but this was a very good match, very, very good tag team match. I mean, there was a lot of chemistry between all these guys. I mean, a lot of people wanted to see Nakamura and Marufuji, but for me the highlight of this match was the altercation between Shiozaki and Yano, because those guys they look so good. I mean, I really want to see a Shiozaki Yano match, because I think that would be brilliant. Hopefully that's what eventually happens from down here, because obviously they were building the tension between Marufuji and Nakamura, to build towards a Nakamura versus Marufuji match. I'd love for them to do the same with the Yano Shiozaki. I mean, obviously not quite to the same sort of scale, because they're not as big names, but I would still love to see a Shiozaki Yano match down the line. Gonna spend the least possible time I can on these next 2 matches, because they sucked. Naito versus Muto was just Shining Wizard. That's pretty much all you need to do for like 25 minutes. Come on, I don't need to see that. Naito needed to go over, he didn't. Fuck you, New Japan. Main event, IWGP Heavyweight Championship, Tanahashi versus Suzuki. Didn't want to see this match. Made myself watch it for this review. I don't like Suzuki. I don't like Tanahashi. I don't like the fact that they kept the title on Tanahashi. I wouldn't have liked the fact that if they'd have put the title on Suzuki. The only good thing about this match was the Gotch style pile driver spot, which obviously they've built up to for the entire year. because he's put everybody down with it. Suzuki put everybody he's faced down with it, and then Tanahashi kicks out. That was the best. That was the best spot of the match. Everything else just can't pair either guys. That's my Wrestle Kingdom review. One star for the star ratings will be in the description box, so you can have a look at them. Royal Rumble 2012, a show I feel a lot better about. And whilst I was disappointed with certain match outcomes and certain things that did actually occur on the card, I'm not sure should have. It was a good show all around. Daniel Bryan versus Big Show versus Mark Henry in the opener was it was a good cage match, sure, but I just think it was well worked for what it was. I mean, obviously you have the trouble with Mark Henry lacking how you'd say ability, and the fact that he was injured. So I mean, what little ability he did have, he just couldn't really use. So you know, tough on him. Sorry, excuse me. But yeah, it was good. It was a good cage match. Daniel Bryan, I wanted him to retain because I want him to go into WrestleMania. I wanted him to go into WrestleMania and face Randy Orton because I think that would have been a really, really good singles match. But it's not going to happen now since their fight. Well, the match is supposed to be happening tonight on SmackDown. Well, not tonight, but it's supposed to be being recorded tonight. So I'm guessing, unless they do something stupid with it. Finish was meh. The whole Big Show trying to put... I don't think that was meant to be the finish. Somehow, I just don't think that was meant to be the finish. Just the way he tried to pull Daniel Bryan in, I think he was meant to pull Daniel Bryan back in, but ended up dropping him. He just couldn't do it. That's just the way it felt to me. So, there you go. With that. But, yeah, it was decent. I mean, for like, the 10-minute cage match, it was good. I didn't really want it to go any longer, and I just think they worked well. I mean, you obviously want to build Bryan the cowardly heel, and having him escape the cage is a great way of helping that along. And I think the fact that Big Show dropped him is even it builds even more. Do you know what I mean? Because it builds Bryan as being lucky as well, a lucky cowardly heel. Because I think the whole if Big Show hadn't have dropped me, I think they should do more with that. If Big Show hadn't have dropped you, you wouldn't have retained the title. Do you know what I mean? Second match of the night of Divas 8-person. 1 star, wasn't good, wasn't bad. Well, actually no, it was bad. But speaking of bad, Kane versus John Cena. Oh, I was hoping. I like the idea of this feud, and I like the idea of them them leading up to like a no DQ street fight kind of match. But with the fact that they're now having an ambulance match pisses me off. Stupid. Ambulance match is stupid. But yeah, this match wasn't good. The post match was good. I like the brawl. They did a good job with the brawl, the post match brawl. That's what got me interested in the idea of having a street fight, or a match of that ilk. And the whole Zack Ryder thing was just stupid and unnecessary, especially since you'd already done it on TV. We don't need to see it on pay-per-view. I don't know if maybe because they were supposed to go longer in the world title match, they needed to do that. They wanted to do that again to sort of buy more time or something. I don't know. But yeah, whatever. Brodus Clay versus Drew McIntyre. Oh, did we need to see Drew get buried again? And I wanted Big Brodus Clay in the Rumble. Maybe so. Dud. CM Punk versus Dolph Ziggler. I've seen this match too many times. They've done this match too many times. They've done this match maybe 4 or 5 times. 4 or 5 times, maybe, something like that. Same with Ziggler and Randy Orton. You don't need to. You keep redoing these matches on TV. Why? Why? Because then when you can actually get money out of them, then people are going to be like, well, we've already seen this on TV for free. Why would we pay? You tease the idea. I mean, I don't have a problem with Ziggler beating Punk by count out or Ziggler beating Punk by DQ on TV. That's fine. Because then that builds to this. But they had the title match. I think they had the match 4 times in the month. 4 times in this month alone. Maybe even more. 4 times they fought 1-on-1 in January. Not this month, what? 4 times! Because they had the title match at the January show. The 2nd of January show. Then they had the 2 singles matches where Dolph Ziggler won in the gauntlet. And then he beat him again. And then he got his title match. I mean, he didn't win. But... you know, and just as good as of a match as this was, I mean, it was good. It wasn't great. It was good because these two are good. Ziggler is the best wrestler. He's having the best matches in WWE, bar none. Nobody's having better matches than Dolph Ziggler right now. Nobody. I mean, even Daniel Bryan. That's how good Ziggler is. And Punk is all right. I mean, Punk I think is overrated personally. He's decent on the mic. He's not great in the ring. He's alright. He's not great. But Ziggler, I think Ziggler's much better than Punk in every way, shape and form. And I was disappointed that Ziggler didn't win the title. Although I knew Punk would retain. Stupid. And the whole Laurinaitis thing was botched as well because he came in and started counting it too. So, bit of a fail on that part. Just the little things that bother me with WWE. But all in all, it was a decent enough match that I can't have too many complaints. And then we have the Rumble match itself. Oh dear. I love this Rumble. I loved it. I absolutely loved the fact that they tried something different with it. They didn't make... They just didn't make it into like the old cliche of Royal Rumble where you got... I don't even know what I'm talking about. I just feel like they tried something... I feel like they tried to make this more of an entertaining Royal Rumble than... In just general terms of entertainment, as opposed to a 60-minute wrestling match, which they've done it, which they tend to do more of in the past. I think there was more of a comedic feel to this than there have been to any of the other Rumbles, particularly with the Ricardo Rodriguez segment. The Ricardo Rodriguez coming out was brilliant. Soccer versus Soccer versus what's the Cobra? Sorry, that was good, and I kind of like the the thing with the announcers coming in because well, yeah, Michael Cole didn't need to come in, but I just think that at the because there was a moment where Cole had the line saying no announcer should ever be in the Royal Rumble match, and literally it was just as it hit 0, and then I think that was when Ezekiel Jackson came out, and I would have loved to have had at that particular moment, no announcer should ever be in the Royal Rumble match. Can you dig it, sucker? That would have been one of the moments of the year. Like seriously, that would have just been so perfectly timed, but obviously they didn't necessarily know what was going to happen like that. It would have been great though. Anyway, that was cool. Cole in there wasn't. Karma returning was cool. That was cool because I didn't expect that, and just the way she threw out Inika was like it was nothing. Was great. Jericho should have won. That's all I'm going to say. I don't have a big problem with Sheamus winning, just Jericho should have won because it doesn't make any sense to do anything else. especially if you're not going to have Orton win it. I mean, and I didn't want Orton to win it because Orton's won it. I mean, if Jericho wins it, well, at least Jericho hasn't won it before. Jericho's not won the Rumble before, so now he can say, I won the Rumble match as well. So just another accomplishment to add to his list. But I feel, I mean, him and Sheamus just worked a great close to the Rumble. A great close. That was one of the best I've seen. I mean, that is probably on par for me with Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker 2007. That was just a great close to the Rumble. Just fantastic. I mean, like, I was literally on the edge of my seat thinking, oh, I was thinking Jericho was going to win, but obviously that was that doubt in the back of my mind. And when that boot hit, I was just like, oh. But I was happy for Sheamus because, you know, I like Sheamus. He's come along as a worker. He's not as green as he used to be. I mean, obviously, I just don't think WWE doing it for the sake of doing a swerve is a good idea. Because it just doesn't work storyline-wise. I mean, I'll be happy. I mean, we're going to get Punk Jericho anyway. It just seemed like having Jericho win the Rumble is the most logical thing to do. And then because then you can build and build and build and build and build through there. Whereas you don't quite have the definitive details of the match yet. Do you know what I mean? Because if you've got Jericho winning the Rumble, you know Jericho's coming in as challenger, Punk's coming in as champion. Whereas now you don't know, is Jericho going to be champion, is Punk going to be champion, who's going to be number, or are they definitely going to face? Is it going to be 1-on-1? Is it going to be a triple threat? Is there going to be somebody else going to win the title? Or is there going to be no title? I mean, you don't really know what's going to happen. If Jericho wins the Rumble, then you know Jericho's going to challenge Punk. Simple as that. Because he's not... Although I would have loved to have seen Jericho versus Bryan, that would have been fantastic. But yeah, there you go. This has been a ranty rambly review and a ranty rambly return. And I'm out. Peace. Peace. Peace.